Hey everybody, welcome back to Travel Trailer Nation. Well, the main numbers are in from the RVIA, and you can look at this report anytime you want if you go out to rvia.org. Well, their shipment numbers just landed, and boy, the RV industry is in some trouble right now. All towables are now in negative territory for the year. And let's just quickly talk about how these numbers are calculated. They're basically looking at 2025 and they're comparing 2026 shipments. So as you know, and I've always said, last year was not a great year. It was a bad year for the RV industry. They had a lot of things in negative territory, including towables and Class A motorhomes, and actually the B's and C's were, I believe, in negative territory at some point during the year. So now what they're comparing in today's report is May of 26 to May of 25. So you're comparing this year to a bad year. And boy, things have gotten worse. So let's just quickly talk about the numbers here. And I had to write these down because obviously I'm not going to remember all of them. But let's go through. The negatives are really being led by the fifth wheels for one thing, and that's something to think about. But travel trailers were virtually unchanged from last month. They were at 17% negative last month. They're at 16.8% negative this month. Fifth wheels down 26.4%. Last month they were at 16.3%. And so they've slid a lot deeper into the hole. And maybe I'll give you my take on that, in a minute. But pop-up campers down 7.6% and truck campers down 0.6%. And I don't want you to read too much into those numbers because, as I've always said, they ship so few of those that just, a little swing one way or the other in the numbers, and it looks like a huge percentage increase or decrease. So really focus more on the travel trailers and the fifth wheels to give you an idea of what's happening in the industry. So what can you say about the industry right now is that, at least for towables, they're continuing to slide downward in a consistent manner. And what about motorhomes? And I don't talk about motorhomes. I very briefly talk about motorhomes here. The Class A's are still slipping, and they're slipping negative further into the hole. Just for example, this month they're at 7.7% negative in shipments. Last month they were at 6.4%, and the month before that they were at 3.6% negative. So it's just going down like that. And like I said, they've been struggling for over a year, and it looks like they're going to slide even further down. And I'm just going to, I think a lot of this has to do with the quality. I really do. I think people are out online, they're looking for fifth wheels. They see all this stuff on different channels about frame flex, about poor quality, and I do think it's affecting the industry, and I think it's affecting it on travel trailers as well. Okay, Class B's, they're up 12.3% positive over April, and Class C's are holding around 18.2%, just like last month. So again, when we talk motorhomes, there are very few of those shipped on a monthly basis. So again, take that for what it's worth. For example, in May on Class A's, they only shipped 520 units. So if you get a swing, it's kind of like the truck campers. If you get a swing in the numbers, it looks kind of like it's a big deal. So what does it mean for buyers? And as I've said for over a year now, if you're in the market for an RV, any sort of a towable, a fifth wheel, or a travel trailer, you've got real negotiating power right now because the dealers have to move that inventory that they've got. So let's talk about my final thoughts here real quick. Trends clearly downward on towables. The biggest development this week is that Winnebago Industries lowered its full year financial outlook because of the sharp slowdown in the towable market. And the company said dealers are ordering cautiously, inventories remain low, the demand for towables, especially higher priced units, is very weak. So one of the things about the main numbers that we aren't seeing yet is any sort of a wave of layoffs, but usually in the RV industry, if things get rough, there's a bit of a lag period before you actually see that. I mean, if shipments continue to decline like this, I would guess that, and history suggests that there will be some layoffs in the industry. So again, if you are in the market for an RV, a towable, you've got negotiating power. The trick will be finding a good manufacturer with decent quality, and you've got to do your research. So get out online, do research on whatever manufacturer you're looking at, see what kind of a repair record's going on the units you're interested in, join some Facebook groups that deal with that trailer type, and then select very, very carefully so that you don't end up with a mistake on your hands. So that's it. Wanted to do this as quick as I could because I know this is boring stuff and not everybody's interested in it, but I think it's interesting to watch. So until next time, happy camping.